had today. So a little bit of a, oh, that should be fine.
Yeah, that looks good.
Okay, super. Okay. We are going to be starting seated. And just come to cross-legged. Bring your hands to your knees, start focusing on your breath. Take one more deep breath all the way down into your belly. And then we'll start making really big circles with the torso. So just warming up the hips a little bit. Start to switch directions. Let's go the other way. And then we'll lean back a little, switch the way that the legs are crossed. And we'll do that again, going the direction that you were going initially, 3 or 4 times. And then switch all the way back. Come back up into center, and still with our hands on our knees, we'll do a few seated cat-cows. So on your inhale, pull yourself forward, bring your chin all the way up. Exhale, round out the back, use your hands on your knees for some leverage. We'll go back and forth like that 2 more times, matching movement to breath. Come back up to a neutral spine, extend your legs in front of you, and we'll tent the fingertips behind us. Push the chest all the way forward, let the chin come up and back. Straight spine. Big breath. And then we'll inhale the arms all the way up overhead. And exhale, fold forward, hinge at the hips. Start to reach for your shins or your toes, whatever is available to you right now. Just wake up through the hamstrings a little. And then we'll come back up to a neutral spine. Let's tuck the left leg under and the right leg over, so into our shoelace legs. And if your knees can be aligned, that's great. If you're like me, not super flexible, my knees are not aligned, also totally fine. So this will be quite a bit of sensation already, probably in your right hip. And if you want a little bit more, you can lean forward. Start to come back up into center, tent the right fingertips behind you, left hand to right knee, and we'll twist to the right. Use your core as a big part of the twist, so it's not heading into your lower back. And then we'll come back into center, bring the left hand down, right arm up and over. And we'll just go back and forth like that. Bring the right arm down, left arm up and over. Just alternate side to side. Going as fast or as slow as you like. You can match breath to movement again. One more time. And then we'll come back into center. Kick the right foot out in front of you. And we'll lean a little bit onto the left side and just go back and forth with the right leg. So we are really waking up that right hip. Just rocking back and forth on the left glute. The next time your right leg comes behind you, you can let it come down and we're in our 90-90 leg position, and your hands can be out in front or stacked behind you again. We're just gonna slowly go back and forth with the knees, letting the back knee lead the movement. One more time. And then the next time your left leg is forward, just slide the right leg back into pigeon. So with your pigeon, you can be up on your fingertips, down on your elbows. You can bend the right knee and add in a quad stretch, whatever feels best in your body. You can stack your hands and come into sleeping pigeon, rest your forehead down onto your hands. We'll be here for a few breaths. Just find what feels best. If you want to add movement into your pigeon, you can keep yourself stacked up on your fingertips and just wave the spine back and forth. That's something that could feel really nice if you feel like you didn't get enough spine movement in your seated cat-cow. Two more breaths here. And then we'll roll back onto the left glute. Kick the right leg all the way forward and cross the left foot over the right knee. So we're going to twist to the left, grab onto the left knee, or you can inhale the right arm up and hook the elbow over. If you feel like your body is ready for that deep of a twist. Left fingertips are tented just behind you. Still using your core. One more breath. And then we'll start to make our way back into center. Extend the legs out in front again. Bring both hands behind. Inhale, chest comes up in the chin. And then on your next breath in, arms come up overhead. Exhale, fold forward, reach for your toes. Okay, we're going to do all of that on the other side. So start to roll your spine back up. Right leg will tuck underneath as if you were coming into cross-legged. Left leg comes over. Shoelace legs on the other side. And this is great if you feel quite a bit here. If not, just lean forward into it. Start to come back up into center. Right hand comes to left knee. Tent the left fingertips behind you. Twisting again to the left. Lots of core. And then turn your torso forward. We're going to go back and forth with alternating arms into our side body stretching. So right arm down, left arm overhead, and just alternate side to side. Something that I find really helps is pushing with my palm instead of reaching with your fingertips. I feel like it gives me a really different sensation inside of my body. One more. And then bring both arms down, roll onto the right glute, kick the left foot forward, and take it back. We'll go back and forth here a few times. The next time your left leg is back, just place it down. We're in our 90-90 legs. Same thing, going nice and slow, back and forth. One more time. The next time your right leg's forward, shift the left leg all the way back into pigeon. And whatever you were doing on the other side, you can do the same thing on this side. If you feel like you want that balance, you can do something different. We'll be here for a few breaths. Just noticing how this side of the body feels compared to the other. One more breath. And then we'll roll onto the right side. Bring the left leg all the way around back into cross-legged. And then we'll roll up over the ankles into tabletop. From your tabletop position, push the ribs out all the way to the right, look behind you to the left, and switch, go the other way. A couple more times, just alternating back and forth. And then we'll tuck the toes under, get strong in the hands, and just lift up the knees. Feel your core turn on. 2 breaths here. Before we slowly start to lift the hips all the way up, come into a downward dog, but keep a big bend at the knee if you feel like your body's not totally ready to be there yet. Pedal up through the feet. That was loud. Sorry about that. Okay, from our down dog, just start to walk the feet to the top of the mat, fold forward when you get there. Heavy head. And just start to bend and straighten each leg, just alternating back and forth. And then on your next breath in, roll the spine all the way up to stand. Take a big exhale when you get to the top. When your next breath comes, bring your arms up overhead, look up, stretch. And exhale, fold all the way forward. Inhale, lift up halfway, straight spine. Exhale, bring the hands down. Step the right foot all the way back behind you. Come up into a high lunge. Feel that in your right hip. If you want to add a bit more core, a bit more twisting, you can reach the right fingertips forward, the left fingertips behind. And then we're going to face forward again, bring the arms back overhead. We're going to do a little bit of balancing right away. So see if you can bring your weight forward to your left foot. You might need to wiggle yourself up a little bit farther, bring your right foot farther up. We are going to push up off the right foot, coming into our airplane pose or warrior 3. So your arms can be down by your sides. They can be overhead. You can alternate where your arms are going, wherever it helps you feel really stable. And then try to keep your hips square to the mat. Feel the strength in your left leg. And then reach the right toes back, place them down, land back in your high lunge. Big breath. Start to bring your arms down, frame the left foot. Take the left foot back beside the right, hold your plank, 3 breaths. And then you can bring your knees down or not. We're going to lower all the way to the front of the body. Bring your hands just slightly out in front and inhale, pull up and forward into cobra. Exhale, release. Inhale, back up one more time. Pull forward, and then exhale, come back down. Bring your hands right away under your shoulders, push all the way up and back into child's pose. Bring your forehead down, rock your head a few times from side to side. Let's start to lift back up into our tabletop, tuck the toes. And on your next breath, just pick the knees up off the mat. Take 3 breaths here. And then send your hips slowly up into the air, come into your downward facing dog. Pedal at the feet. Walk all the way forward to the top of the mat, fold. And roll the spine up to stand on your next inhale. Loop the shoulders up, back, and down 3 times when you get to your standing spot. And then on your next breath in, bring the arms up overhead, look up and stretch, and exhale, fold forward. Lift up halfway. Bring the hands down, take the left foot all the way back behind you, come into your high lunge on the other side. And if you want to add more core, more twisting, you can bring left fingertips forward right behind you. Bring the hands forward again if they're not there already. Step the left foot a little bit farther up so that your weight can be in the right foot. And then just start to hover the left foot off the ground, coming into your airplane pose, your warrior 3 on the other side. Notice if one side feels a lot easier than the other to stay balanced. Engage your core. Find a single point of focus just in front of you. And then start to reach the left toes back. Plant them down again, back up into your high lunge. Big breath in and out. Bring the hands all the way down. Frame the right foot. Take the right foot beside the left. 3 breaths here in plank. And then bring the knees down or not, lower all the way. Take the arms out in front. I'm going to come into a couple prone swimmers or Supermans if you don't want to add the swimming portion. On your next inhale, we're going to lift everything up. So it's like we're flying. And if you want to add the swimmer, you can bring the arms back to your lower back. Loop them all the way up in front. We'll do that 3 more times. But everything is up off the ground and you're balancing on your belly, basically. But once you've done your 3, bring everything back down Your forehead down or one cheek, just take a breath. Hands come under shoulders. Push all the way back into child's pose. And release. Shift all the way forward into your tabletop again. Tuck the toes. Lift the knees up off the mat. Take 3 breaths. And then send your hips back into downward facing dog. Pedal up the legs. Focus on a long, straight spine. So if you feel like that is compromised because you're trying to get your legs straight, then just keep a bend at the knee. Straight spine instead. From here, let's take the right leg up into the air behind you. Bend the knee, open the hip to the side wall. You can do some knee circles if you want. And then we'll rock forward, step the right foot between the hands, come up into a high lunge. We're gonna do another bit of balancing as a part of this flow. So, on your next breath in, we're gonna try and send our weight into the right foot. Take the left knee all the way up into the center of your chest. And then bring left hand to left knee out to the side. Right arm can go out as a counterbalance. If you're super flexible and you want to take this to the next stage, you can grab onto the foot instead and kick that out to the side. Bring the left leg back in center, and we're going to bend the right leg a little, cross the left leg over the right, and kind of sit back into a chair. Left arm is going to go under the right arm into eagle pose. And just look forward. If you fall out of it, just try to come right back in. Falling out is just part of the practice. One more breath, and then we're going to untangle, bring everything all the way up and wide, send the left foot all the way back, land in your high lunge. Bring the hands down, step the right foot back, beside the left, you're in plank, and you can hold your plank, you can go to your downward dog, or you can add it a vinyasa. We're all going to be meeting in downward dog anyway. Take 3 big breaths when you get to your down dog. Try to make it feel like a resting pose. And then we'll start to hover the left leg, bring it all the way up behind you, bend the knee, open the hip. Knee circles if you want. And then rock forward, step the left foot between the hands, come up and into high lunge on this side. Big breath. And then we'll start to bring our weight into the left foot, rock forward, right knee comes up into the chest, right hand to right knee, open it out to the side. Then you can start to bring the right leg back in front, bend the left knee just a little and cross the right leg over. Right arm goes under the left. And we're sitting back into our one-legged chair. Feel how much your ankle is trying to stabilize. And now we'll start to unwind, take everything out big and wide, loop the right foot all the way back behind you, land into your high lunge. Bring the hands down, left foot steps back beside the right. Plank, downward dog, or vinyasa. Take 3 breaths once you get to your down dog. And then we'll walk forward to the top of the mat and fold. Grab onto opposite elbows, swing a little bit back and forth. And then lift up to stand on your next inhale. Go nice and slow. Big exhale when you get to the top. On your next breath in, reach your arms up, look up. Exhale, dive forward. Lift up halfway. Bring your hands down, step the right foot back behind you, and pivot on the back foot so you can loop the arms up into warrior two. And then we will bend and straighten each leg, alternating back and forth on our imaginary surfboard. Start to straighten the front leg, point the left toes the same direction as the right. You can heel toe your feet a little closer together. I'm gonna face you guys. And then we'll interlace our hands behind us, pull down, open up the chest, and then hinge at the hips, coming forward into your wide-legged fold. Opening up through the front of the chest. Letting gravity take your hands down. Start to release, bring your hands to your hips. Hinge all the way back up, and we'll point the left toes forward. Sink back into your warrior two. And you can bring elbow to knee, right arm overhead, or you can play around with the bind if that's something that you've been working on. Then we'll start to rotate the torso towards the left foot, come up onto the right toes. Bring the hands down, step back into plank, and you can add a vinyasa, or you can just send your hips all the way back to downward facing dog. 2 big breaths when you get to your down dog. And then we'll walk to the top of the mat, fold forward. Lift all the way up to stand on your next breath in. We'll bring the arms up overhead and fold again on your breath out. Lift up halfway, bring the hands down, step the left foot back, and come up into warrior two. Heel of the right foot is in line with the arch of the left foot, and we'll alternate back and forth, bending and straightening each leg. See if we can get any cracks and tension out of the hips. And then we'll straighten the right leg. Point the right toes the same direction as the left. Heel toe them a little bit closer together. And on our inhales, we're going to bring our arms up overhead. And on our exhales, we're going to bring opposite fingers to toes. So I'm going to bring left fingertips to right toes. Sit back into my right glute. Turn this into a twist. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, right fingertips to left toes. And you're just going to alternate back and forth like that. Go one more time in each direction. And then when you're finished and back up to standing, point the right toes forward, sink back into your warrior two. Elbow comes to knee, left arm goes overhead. And then we'll start to turn the torso, come up onto the back toes, bring the hands down, step back into plank. You can add your vinyasa, you can go to downward dog, you can go to child's pose, whatever you need right now. If you are in down dog and you did your vinyasa, shift forward, bring the knees down, sit back into your child's pose. From here, you're going to shift forward just enough so that you can cross your ankles and roll back to seated. And we're going to make our way down to our backs. As always, you can make this as active or as passive as you want, so you can turn this into a core exercise, or you can just lay straight down if you are feeling pretty beat. Once you get to your back, bring your knees into your chest. Grab onto the left shin, pull it in towards you, extend the right leg. Make some big circles with that left leg. Massage out the left side of the body. And then we'll switch sides. Bring the right leg in, pull it towards you, extend the left leg. Big circles over here. Okay, start to release. Bring both feet as close as you can to your bum. See if you can reach your heels. We're going to come into one bridge. And you can make it restorative if you want by just sliding something underneath you. But if you want to make it more active on your next inhale, let's lift the hips all the way up. Roll the shoulders underneath. Pressure in your heels and your elbows. Knees coming together. Energizing through the back body. And release, start to roll the spine all the way down, bring your knees back into your chest, give yourself a squeeze. Take the legs out long and bring them all the way over to the right. Then bring your hands over to the right, and you can cross your ankles and your wrists if that feels good. We're coming into this banana shape. Big stretch through the left side. And send all your breath there. Let's start to go through center. Bring everything over to the left, your hands and your feet. Big stretch through the right side. Try to keep your shoulders both on the mat. When you're ready, you can start bringing everything into center. Moving into your Shavasana, your final resting pose. If there's anything else that you feel like you need before you head there, please do that now. Or if you want to put your socks on or your sweater or anything that you need to feel cozy before heading into your resting pose. We all know that Shavasana is the most important pose. So make sure you're super comfortable before you get there. So be there for a few minutes. If you fall asleep, that's okay. I'll call you back. It's time to get into that parasympathetic state. When you're ready, you can start bringing a little bit of movement back into your body. Wiggling your fingers and your toes. Roll over to one side and push yourself back up to seated. Bring your hands to your knees or up into heart center. I'll take one big breath. Inhale through the nose. Exhale out the mouth. Namaste. I hope you had a great practice. And apologies